All right, here we go. New morning, new market. Let's take a look at what's staying on this list. Everything from here up is something that we are going to continue to take a look at. We're going to get rid of Ketov here. I'll put marker back on because I do want to keep an eye on that. Eviv. And there's one more that I want to throw on here. Morning, guys. Okay, so let's start with market overview, and then we'll move into press releases. Looks like there's about 300 for us to go through here, and then we will move into specific stocks. All right. Armed. So let's get rid of that. So it was pretty exciting yesterday, guys. We had a really interesting morning yesterday. Really interesting morning. Macro Est is something that we tripped across. Guy just seemed to have this really cool idea about something that is worth a shot. So I'm excited to see how it works out today. I was willing to give it a shot for a day and just see how it goes. Basically, it was a lot of deep diving on data in regards to how the Robinhood contingent influences the market. Okay, so today's market's what we're looking at so far. Everything's looking green. We got some positive stuff. US orders 300 million doses of potential COVID vaccine. Okay, so markets like that. The US has put in a mass order for a potential vaccine. AstraZeneca is going to go to the moon. That's going to be the news for the day, guys, is that AstraZeneca vaccine purchase. 300 million purchase of that vaccine. Good morning, Abo. Okay, I just need to pull up. Trading dashboard is giving me a hard time here. Of course, they're doing maintenance from 4 to 6. Okay, that's unfortunate. Okay, so on the 5-day, okay, that makes more sense now. Not super concerned on that. Let's go to over here first. And welcome to everybody on Twitter, and good to have you here. We're currently just checking out what's going on in the market, guys. We're going to take a look at top stocks for the day. I'm going to start to pull in everything from the press releases that have dropped. Here are this stuff. Top news for the day. Oil prices recovering. Is it time to buy? No. Global coronavirus surpasses 5 million. Poor oil states are struggling to pay back what they owe. Six states that are manipulating their COVID. I don't know why this is not like the top news. So this is huge news, guys. The 300 million doses of potential COVID vaccine. The U.S. government has, I guess, pulled the trigger and made a choice that AstraZeneca is the one they want to go with. Hoping by October. So I'm going to want to look at that a bit more. Let's see here. News on Molecular. Is the halt still on? What's up, big boy? EmbryoX is still halted through all of this. Okay, let's go through acquired or acquisition, see if there's anything there. Might be something. Zoom acquires a security firm. Intel acquisition in the gaming sector, that's important. Okay, that's big. FDA officials taking themselves out of the selection of vaccine process. I'm going to have to read why that is they're doing that, if it's on moral grounds or if it's something else. Phase 3 trial for corona drug. Man, there's a lot of acronyms on that article. I feel like I need to break that down and understand that. Okay. So that's it for that. Tetraphase. Okay. Still waiting on contract deals with Tetraphase and what they're doing. PWF award, Growth Plus, MFA Financial. Okay, get rid of that. Freakonomics has a new article, so take a look at that. Okay, Penn is up. What else do we have? Chrome mining. Gets an upgrade. Union Pacific gets an upgrade. Okay. And then last but not least, the PR releases from PR Newswire. These are still mostly European headlines, so we'll put that out. Okay. Let's get going here. So, AstraZeneca, 300 million doses of potential virus vaccine. Oxford University. That's it. There's no other news there. Zoom acquires Keybase to beef up security on its platform. Okay, so this company has decided to tie its kite to Zoom. Zoom does need more security, but I don't know that this actually drives the stock, that news. Intel is acquiring the company behind Killer Gaming. Okay. Like, I mean, this is competition. As far as the gaming market goes, this is competition. That yeah, this acquisition is a good one here. Wow, that's not visible at all, eh? I gotta fix that. That's too bad. This is just... Okay. I'll fix that after stream, I guess, because that chat can't be visible. Okay, so acquisition isn't at a left field. Intel and Rivet. Morning, Dunhill. How you doing, man? Chances are good that at some point in the future we will see a new Intel NIC, obvious killer DNA implemented. They will not declare the transaction price on it. I think this is good for Intel. I think this gets them back into the game as far like they're doing really well on the corporate side, but Intel has to acknowledge AMD's presence in the industry now. It's not just Nvidia; it's Nvidia, AMD, and Intel, and people are talking about the three as equals. Intel needs more of a presence in the gaming industry, and this is a good acquisition for them, I think. Again, I don't know that this moves the market in any way. I don't think that people are just going to drop all of their AMD processors and head on over here because they've got a killer wireless, but it's something at least. They're making an effort. Okay, 2 FDA officials who are named as overseers of Trump's Operation Warp Speed will recuse themselves from the agency's considerations about approving vaccines. Dr. Woodcock and Dr. Marks recused themselves for reduced conflict of interest concerns, addressing dissenters arguing the FDA's primary purpose is to critically assess drug safety and efficacy rather than advocate for their approval. Okay, so these two were seen as lobbyists, essentially. They were members of this Operation Warp Speed team, but it seemed like they were more like lobbyists for companies, less worried about the end user and more worried about getting the company's products to market. I don't know that this is a huge thing other than to see this news alongside news of AstraZeneca is very interesting. Now, one of the things that has to come up at some point here is there are a lot of people out there. I'm sure that if you have COVID, that you are very open to taking the vaccine. I get that. I'm there. But I think there's a lot of folks that are going to be very hesitant to take this vaccine given all the corners they have cut in testing. I think a lot of people are going to fail to be early adopters on the vaccine, and I think you're going to see them wait to see what the fallout is from this initial vaccine rollout before they actually go and get this vaccine. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. AstraZeneca, 300 million. The order's in. Whether or not that's the cure, we'll see. They're kind of coming out of left field. They've been prepping alongside, but I mean, you know what you expect to fall on that. What you do expect to fall on that is Moderna in a big way, because mRNA did not get the wink in the gun. So expect to see this fall out of the sky today, I think. Their entire portfolio was dependent on... You don't believe your t-shirt, Drake News. I am an American Eagle, and I'm Captain America. You can't prove otherwise, sir. Morning, guys. Yeah, it's still morning there for you guys, right? It's only 5 hours. Okay, moving on. So AstraZeneca, Oxford University, 300 million vaccine doses. FDA approves phase 3 trial for coronavirus drug. Octapharma. 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 Privately held. Boop. FDA and USDA signed MOU to allow USDA to exercise DPA authority in FDA regulated facilities. I wonder if the editor in chief looked at this title and went, this sounds very smart. When in reality, I don't know about you guys, but when you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 acronyms in one title, you've done something wrong as a journalist. Like, poof. Okay, in the latest move to shield the food supply chain from the impact caused by the COVID-19, USD. Okay, so the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Federal Drug Administration announced Tuesday that two agencies have signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, outlining a process to prevent interruptions at FDA-regulated food facilities, including fruit and vegetable processing plants. Okay, so now not only are we cutting corners as the FDA around medicines and vaccines and treatments and medical devices. Now what we're going to do is cut corners around food regulation. Yay! Do whatever you want. Just get the food to market. Yikes. All in Costco, baby. Don't actually do that, guys. That brings up a great point. I am not a financial expert, advisor, any of that nonsense. I am a degenerate day trader, just like a lot of you. If you're here, what we're doing is trying to break down news from the day. I'm a equity player, largely in biopharm. So what I do in the morning is I wake up, we break down the market as a whole, see what the sentiment is, go through all the press releases, and then after that, really, it's whatever comes our way, whatever we can find in news articles, whatever we can. If you guys have specific stocks you want me to look at, I'm more than happy to do that. But we're getting there. I'm almost through this, and then we'll clear out social media, and we'll be ready to roll. This is just saying that this market is going to grow. Growth plus stability. MFA Financial. Okay. So nothing. Freakonomics has a new article. Oh, I suppose that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Rated that bunker like WW1. Accidental Futures, Kevin Kelly, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Steve Dubner, smart guy, yada, yada, yada. Blah, 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 blah. AI is going to be invisible to us. We don't even know it's being rolled out. That's true. Being enthusiastic about it is worth 25 IQ points. Real estimation, 25 IQ points. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so Freakonomics is great stuff here, guys. I like to just scan through it to get an idea of what are some of the concepts they're talking about. AI is their focus right now. I'll probably do some expanded due diligence on the AI sector and what innovations are coming out, but not today. Okay, Penn is trading up. It's not just trading up on the analyst upgrade. Everybody likes to gamble. When we see that greed fear index shift, and voila, it's even better than yesterday. 1 week ago, we were at 39. Now we are at 53. The greed is back, boys. The greed is back. Okay, so let's see. Of course, JP Morgan raised their price target from 21.28. The stock is at 25.79. Duh. Oh, you raised your price target when it was already past your price target? Good for you, JP Morgan. Nailed it. My goodness. Per Mining, the precious metals company. CDE. Trading at $6. Where are they today? Oh yeah, they had a nice little. Look at that. Look at that. They got some love yesterday from $4 to $6. That's a good day. They're down pre-market though. On pre-market, Armed. Down pre-market. What I'd love to see is these candles look a little funny. They're open close candles. So you see the top line's the open, that's the close. The wick represents the highs and lows for the day, where it finished in approximation. So here's Armed yesterday. You can see the open at 35, the close up at 49. Good chance that this goes back to its 65-70 line, but we'll see. Okay, so Armed is there. What else do we have? UBS upgrades Union Pacific to a buy. Union Pacific. UNP. I mean, it's been trucking away at 150, 160. It's doing all right. I could see that. As the economy reopens, you're going to need the rail systems for deliveries. That makes sense. I'm on board. I'm on board with that. Okay, let's go to the social feeds. Yamo. Espresso in the morning. All right, let's go to what do we got? We got Yahoo Finance. MasterCard staff are going to go remote. Which one? The AstraZeneca news or the MasterCard news? Uh, I don't think it makes it slip. I think remote work is a good thing. I think more and more businesses are going to see that as a very positive thing, actually, that you're embracing remote work. It means that business will carry on as usual. And to be honest, MasterCard is largely built of a phone center, right? So you don't need people in massive offices with phones. I I I almost feel like it's no news as far as trading the stock itself. I think that it is relevant to the industry as a whole. So the more the more big companies you see, um, yeah, the more big companies that you see going remote, the more that tools like Zoom and ServiceNow, Slack, the more those tools are going to become bigger players. So every time you see a major company like this, the thing that I would look to immediately isn't the MasterCard company itself. It's to check out Zoom, it's to check out Slack, it's to check out ServiceNow. So NOW, what are they? It's NOW work and see. Good morning, Mr. McJ. Shout out to Mr. McJ. I didn't get to it yesterday, but Mr. McJ is my first sub since I've started streaming again, so pretty stoked about that, Mr. McJ. Shout out to you, good sir. And just go over here and here. I'll throw a couple beepers at you there. All right. I will look at getting some other emotes. Those were brand new to Twitch when I stopped streaming, so I'll make sure to get something else in there that you can use. But for now, you got access to a little Canadian flavor in your Twitch as a result of being a sub. So thank you for that. Where did COVID-19 come from? This morning, AstraZeneca got $1 billion order on their vaccine, and then there's also news that on the tail of that purchase, two members of Operation Warp Speed that were aligned with they've recused themselves from being a part of that panel, which leads me to believe that this is being pushed by the gentleman in charge of Operation Warp Speed, and he is cutting corners, skipping steps, and people are backing out using the excuse of, oh, well, these are people that are trying to get things approved, not people that are trying to care for the users at the end. When in reality, I think it may be actually the opposite, where the people being recused are people that are trying to get in the way of a vaccine being rushed before Christmas, which is what Trump wants to have happen. I think that this is very, very dangerous. AstraZeneca is kind of coming out of the blue, so they do have the capacity to make a move like this, but I think it's really risky to rush ahead like this. That's really loud, huh? Let's see if we can't take that down a notch. Hopefully I didn't deafen you guys. Morning, Levi. All right. Oh yeah, for sure. It's got to be mooning on the news. Like, what are we looking at pre-market here? Oh, it's not mooning. I mean, it's up, but so the market's not really up yet either. Around 6, I think we'll start to see that take hold and start moving. Where did COVID come from? That doesn't matter. No, it's just AZN. How do you guys feel about Saudi Arabia pushing ahead with their first nuclear reactor? I probably won't touch AZN. I'm not a fan. So I trade on the medical news. I think it will move. I think it will move. I'm never going to give advice on the play. I more so like to just give the information on the background and allow you guys to come to those decisions. But there is a $1 billion order, and $1 billion order is a lot of money. Not really to AstraZeneca, because AstraZeneca is one of the big beasts. AstraZeneca is way out of range for me. I play equity. I am not playing a $53 share as equity. I expect that we see this. If I had to ballpark it, spitball goes to 59. So if you like the option, you like the option. If you don't, you don't. But I think that this is a major move. I think people are really excited about this. People are so tired of this virus. So for you to come out and say that we're finally getting it, bam. I mean, Trump likes Saudi Arabia, right? Like they're good buddies. They're good buddies, Saudi Arabia and Trump. So that's interesting. They've acknowledged that they've got to get the subways and public transportation. I'll definitely take a look at that. They've noticed. They know that they have to do that. Now they're using UV lights. Who here remembers the press conference where Trump said, "Oh yeah, we could use things like UV lights"? I know you remember it because it's the same one where people thought, "Oh well, he's telling people to drink bleach." Um, this is he said we could be using UV lights to do stuff like this, and bam, here it is. Anovia's COVID vaccine neutralizing antibody T cell immune responses in preclinical models. Okay. Okay. This is it right here. This is my thoughts on this, okay? Phase 1 clinical trial expected in June. They are so freaking late to the game. They are so late to the game. Published in a peer review, so that's not bad. Target measures blah blah blah, block supply chain, spike the AC2 receptor, causing it to die off. Preclinical data demonstrates a promising COVID vaccine candidate against this emerging disease threat. Until I see a phase 1 trial, it's kind of a nothing for me. I think those that are stoked about INO, the people that are already holding their breath with anticipation on it, are going to get excited by this, and you'll see it. Well, it's down pre-market. But yeah, phase one pre-market isn't really anything. Times your zone spending's increasing. Does that look like social distancing to anybody? I don't think so. Does this mean we see things with BTC get worse before they get better? So. Okay, where are we gonna go from here, guys? Let's go. Okay, you know what? I need to go grab some water because I'm starting to lose my voice here. So 60 seconds, I'll be back, and we can get down to the next stage. You guys can start throwing out some stocks you want me to look at. We can break down some news as it comes in. Usually around 5:30 we start to see that. So 60 seconds, I'll be back. All right, back at it. All right, what are we looking at? Let's go. Let's go here. Let's see what we get. Bracket order and stop limit order. Stop limit order is just saying, okay, well, this is where I want my outs. Bracket is saying I want to exit my position staggered, I believe. That's different. Okay, so it goes two ways. You put a buy and a sell on either side, whereas stop limit just has the one side. So bracket's got a position to the gain and to the loss. I mean, I do all my trades manually. All this fancy schmancy stuff out there. People are talking about iron condors and strangles and dragons, and it's like, you know what? I understand why you do things like that. I do, but for me, it's simple enough to just buy and sell. Watch your stocks. Don't have so many positions that you can't get in and out, and you need to automate. These tools, these bigger tools, these bigger plays, are meant for the guys that are trading millions and millions, right? Billions even. Good morning, Herr Lattice. Guten Tag, meine. Okay. Let's go. Okay, so this is what we want to see. BABA down 1.3. ACB is up another 37%. Okay, so let's talk ACB. I mean, this thing is the bane of my existence, but okay. So ACB is getting more positive news because they've purchased US-based companies, which now allows them access to the marijuana money in the upcoming stimulus bill. Now that's if the marijuana money gets through. Okay, so ACB right now is up to $17. You guys know my opinion on ACB. Their reporting is garbage. They're a Canadian-based company. They burn more than they sell. There's a lot of issues with this company. So for this thing to be up $17, just look at the decline, right? Like, okay, so we go up $20, we go down $12. It's gonna go up. It's $17 today. I bet you we see it go back down to 10, and then this thing is gonna slowly fade from existence again. It is a terrible company. Please don't put your money in it. That it's evaluated at $1.3 billion is laughable. There are only 30 million people in Canada as a whole. Of that 30 million, you can only smoke from 19 and up. So you're cutting out, let's say, 5 million of the 30. So you've got 25 million people. It's less than the state of California. This company is not worth $1.3 billion. This company is, I mean, for lack of a better word, dog crap. Like, it's just terrible. Please stay away from this thing. Now, that's not financial advice. You're a trader. If you decide, you know what, millennial, I think that you are wrong and I want to get in on it, go nuts, guys. Knock yourselves out. So yeah, so that's one I see with a huge potential to the downside. If you guys do like to play shorts or puts, ACB and mRNA, I think both of them are prepped for a fall from grace. I think we're going to see a lot of shorts on this bad boy. The other thing that I've started to track is this thing right here. What we're looking at here, guys, is okay, so no data for 4 hours, just for the day. This is the largest change in positions on Robinhood. So the Robinhood contingent has been something of interest to me for a little while. And what I'm taking a look at here is as stocks move up this list, we see different price movement on it. So NNDM, we're seeing a load up on. Let's see how NNDM is looking. You know what? I should just create a new list. I should create a list of these, the top 10 here. So hold on, let me rename this. New dashboard. Robinhood top 10. Okay, so we've got NNDM. This back over here, and I'll just build this out. NNDM. Got INO. We've got VVIV. We've got DAL. We've got Penn. We've got Armed. We've got Fun. We've got GE. We've got Amazon. And we've got Facebook. Okay, so that's the top 10, guys. On this list, Fun's up 134, 13%, 8%, 6%, 4%, 3%, 1%, and then these guys down here. Now, the interesting thing with these guys down here, VBIB, NNDM, and Armed, is NNDM actually had Robinhood increasing their position. They're buying in on NNDM. Same thing with Armed, same thing with VBIV. There's a net growth. Yeah, RobinTrack. That's what I'm using. That's exactly what that browser was RobinTrack. Yeah, that's the same list. I'm just using the tool on the website because I can actually move it. It's all good. But yeah, so what I'm looking at here, guys, is I just want to understand what the Robinhood contingent is looking at, okay? So we've got Funware. Look, this is what the Robinhood contingent does. This, right here. This is massive. Penn. One week, percent change, 240%. So this one is interesting to me. So Armed, we see an increasing position on this. But 4,000 new shares picked up on Armed, right? So this hasn't spiked yet. And so I'm interested today to see what Armed does. As people poured in on this yesterday, I'm interested to see if this continues to see growth. I mean, it's down pre-market, it is. But I'm interested to see, as the public offering comes off on the 22nd, what Robinhood does with this, where it's going to go. For it to make the top 10 board like that is kind of a big deal. For 4,000 more users to 4,400 more users to hop in on this, it's definitely interesting to see at the very least. So don't consider this due diligence as much due diligence in these stocks in any way. Because most of these I don't like. I don't like GE. I don't like Penn. I don't like INO. I don't like Facebook. But here they are, right? Like, they're there. And you have to give credit to the strength. You have to give credit to the strength of that many buyers in a place, in a single source. It has the power to move markets. It does. We're in that day and age. Okay, let's check out the financial calendar for today. FX Street. See what we have coming up. Jobless claims day. So what I've stopped watching with the jobless claims, guys, is the initial jobless claim. What I am watching for is the continuing jobless claims. I want to see what this number does. Do we see this number with the economic reopening drastically decrease? Or do we see it holding steady? And if it's holding steady, that means people are staying unemployed. That means companies aren't bringing them back, they're not hiring them back, or people are opting not to go back to work. Either case, if this number doesn't start to show a absolutely massive decline very quickly, then what we have is a huge drain on the financial assistance system in the US. And that's something worth taking note. TB. I think TB is a good long-term play. They've got a decent portfolio. I did exit my position on them. I'm still bullish on them. I'll probably come back to taking a look at it. But what is the economics calendar about? Okay, so this breaks down major reports that we expect to come out. So this is the European NGB market services. So this is the reports that we're seeing being pulled apart by Yahoo. This is the Spanish bond auctions coming out. This is telling you whether it's a green or a red, so how the actual results compared to the expected, the consensus. So obviously Germany got some bad news. Excuse me. Yeah, so this is where we see, so by country, there's stuff here. We're going to get the Canadian unemployment numbers, employment insurance beneficiaries change, housing price index. The link is, I'll give you guys the link here. This is another useful tool for sure. Okay. I have a little question. Do you perhaps know of any publicly traded companies in the field of vertical farming or hydroponic farming? Interesting. Let's take a look. Let's find some hydroponic stocks. It looks like a lot of private investing. So let's check these out. Arrow Farms. Plenty. Interesting. So I'm still not seeing publicly traded though, and that's what we're looking for. No problem, man. No problem. Okay. So these are top agriculture. I'm just trying to think. I think if you were going to look at something like this, you would have to look at these companies. And I think that these guys here are probably our best bets. So this works for nitrogen fertilizer, so this is not it, because we're talking hydroponic. Mosaic. Crop nutrition. Potash and phosphate, we still need that. 2 of the 3 most vital nutrients coming. Yeah. So that could be a potential play right there. That's one. MOS. If we go to vertical farming, I think that's one. Yeah, I think MOS is a big one. I think you can take a look at that. So MOS. I mean, you're talking about vertical growing, you're talking about growing vegetables, and I think that if that technology gets to the point where it's financially sound, you're going to see a major producer like FDP take a serious interest in it. So you've got FDP. What else? Flowers, oil, sugar, bioenergy. So they've got an ethanol base. BG. So those would be the 3 that I look at. Yeah, I mean, hydroponics is a big beast. One of the issues with hydroponics is the energy consumption, right? The lights that you've got to use. So if a company found a way to have sufficient LED on lighting cycles paired with green renewable energy, I think that this becomes more commonly adopted. The energy drain on the system, I think, is a big thing where it becomes net neutral. What's the point of reducing carbon emissions if you're just going to drain the energy system, which is going to increase carbon emissions? It's kind of the thought process behind it. So it doesn't currently, vertical farming and hydroponics does not offer a higher yield potential than traditional agriculture. So those are 2 of the big blockades it needs to bust through. Is can you actually produce more in vertical farming than you could in a typical field farm? And I should say, can we reduce the strain on the energy infrastructure if we were to switch to farms that are completely dependent on energy consumption? So is there currently CO2 emissions as a result of open farm fielding? Absolutely. But they're not a constant drain on the energy infrastructure, right? The farmer fields, I can look out my window almost and see farmers' fields. They're not currently draining any power to sit there. They're just growing. And yeah, I mean, there is energy consumption in the way of tractors and machines and yada yada yada, but for the large part, it's not a constant strain on energy infrastructure. The other big concern is that a lot of these vertical farms want to be built up in urban centers. And again, so with urban centers, the last thing that you want is an unnecessary additional strain on the infrastructure there. So imagine New York City with vertical farms to feed every borough, right? That's going to be a huge strain on that. It's an interesting technology. It's a long-term play. It's right up there with studies on graphene and helium mining on the moon. Welcome back, Nadal. I want to get it right. Let me know what it is. What do you think of Azul Airlines and FSCT? FSCT is a compliant fraudster. I would want nothing to do with them. I wouldn't go near their stock. I make a point of not trading people that operate in fraud. I think this thing is doomed to the ground. I expect this in the mid-teens, low teens. Um, yeah. These guys have a lot of explaining to do. I think that they've become complicit in fraud examinations. Not at all. Not at all. I'm glad to help. I always love learning about a new sector. Azul. I don't know much about Azul, so let's do some learning on Azul. Why not? Why not? Azul Airlines. Ooh. My thoughts on an Azul are get out of the way quick. Trump is talking about a travel ban on Brazil, which would just destroy this company. Absolutely destroy this company. Their only hope is they're holding their breath to get a piece of a $683 million bailout. This looks like if you're looking at Azul, you're looking at it from the downside. Do not touch this puppy trying to catch the upswing. Up 14% yesterday. Yeah, this bad boy is doomed to failure. Let's be honest here, guys. Is that enough? Millions. We're not talking billions. We're talking millions. 683 million bailout split among 3 airlines. So let's say they get an even split, okay? So they're getting 200 and let's say 25 million apiece. 225 operating costs on an airline for a quarter are more than that. Like this just kicks the can down the road for 1 quarter. So the big news on this is the travel ban. So let's see what Trump is going to do with the travel ban. Trump travel ban Brazil. Yeah, I mean, the real number to watch on Brazil, it looks like, would be keep a constant eye on world meters. In the event, man, like this is not. This is the deaths is showing a slight curve, which means that we're getting some treatments. We're starting to understand the drug a little bit more, but this is not. This line is solid. That's a straight line. This is unchanging. Yikes. So if Brazil passes Russia, expect to see a travel ban. Expect to see a travel ban. What's of note here is look at this. Look. Okay, they are pretty darn close to each other, but that is a significant difference in deaths. And maybe it's just people that are about to die, but I don't think so. So Brazil is actually pretty comparable in population size to the US as well, and I think that that's a legitimate concern with Brazil here is are they going to be in a place where yeah, are they going to be in a place where if they surpass the US, things go badly, I think. Things just go bad real fast. Real bad, real fast. Um There should be concern. There should be legitimate concern that the Fed has considered its policy on junk bonds to be true for us as investors, okay? If you're a hedge fund, if you're a bank, if you're an investor, you should steer clear of junk bonds. They are garbage, they are high risk. 2008 was bad. Don't go near them, and yet now we have the Fed buying up more and more of these utter pieces of trash. Um, it's not good. It's no bueno. Federal Reserve dash. Okay. Repo operations. 7 billion yesterday. 9 billion yesterday. Okay, so 16 billion in inverse repos. Holdings. Okay, so domestic holdings from the Fed. Treasury bills, notes and bonds. Yikes. Trillion. Trillion. Um, Commercial backed mortgage securities and agency mortgage backed securities. These are the concern here, guys. 1.7 trillion in bad loans. 1.7 trillion in bad loans. Loans that have a 50 to 70% default rate. You would not want to touch these loans with anybody else's money. They are super high risk on default, especially in a climate where people are unemployed and can't find work. I think Powell may have. I understand what he was trying to do, but I think he bit off more than he can chew. Okay, so if we go back to May 19th, NNDM, NNDM, no NNDM. Oh, NNDM? Oh, that's decreases. So popularity. NNDM. Armed from yesterday, up 800%. I mean, I don't know the answer to that question. Um, okay, so let's go through this here. So that's the thing. That's one of the issues that a lot of countries are having as far as assessing COVID deaths. So the reality is you get COVID, and then COVID leaves you open to secondary infection, so you contract pneumonia or something similar, something that's in the pulmonary system, right? So according to the news here, many COVID deaths in Russia are simply attributed to pneumonia. Yeah, that's the problem. There's a lot of countries where people who otherwise would not have died of pneumonia are dying of pneumonia because they've contracted COVID. So do you count that? Do you tally that as a COVID death or a pneumonia death? That's one of the tough parts. Now, the other tough part with that is it's pneumonia season. Like, you've got that. Countries like Canada and Russia are constantly dealing with that. That's why we're so concerned here in Canada about going into another flu season with this thing undealt with. Because the reality is, if you go into another flu season, another winter with COVID running amok, you're in for a rough run. Um, is Powell just trying to get in Trump's good books? No, Powell has no desire. What's up, Poopy? By the way, um, Trump has no desire to be friends with Powell, and vice versa. The two of them do not get along. Powell's concern is for the American economy, and what he's trying to do is keep all of the economic sector afloat, and that includes major banks and lenders who have already assumed the debts of these companies. And what their concern is going to happen is we're going to get a 2008 decline at the same rate on top of COVID, and that could just completely destroy everything. So what they're trying to do is help the banks out because the banks have made bad decisions. So that's really what he's trying to do here, and just constant liquidity in the market. Um, the only option he has at his disposal now, and they're two bad options. It's continue buying these dog crap bonds, continue buying out bad positions, bad loans, because somebody's got to do it, or go to negative interest rates, and that is just awful, awful. How long will you think One Life Healthcare dips back down? Also, how long have you been trading stocks, and how successful have you been? Okay, so I was a passive investor for a couple of years, actively day trading since November. I've grown my account from an initial, I think my first deposit was 760, around there. But I think the account actually was initially funded for $3,000. As of today, I've got 24,000 in there. So that's from, we'll say January till now, $3,000 to 24,000. So that's kind of the growth that I'm seeing playing equity. If I were to pull up my portfolio for you guys to look at right now, you'd see it is currently on the decline. However, that's because I'm expecting several of my large positions to pay out into Q4. So it's okay for them to be down now. I'm expecting them to bounce back as we head later into the year. Poopy, I know I've got to fix that. I don't know how to fix it on stream, so I'll fix it afterwards for sure. It's driving me nuts. It really is. I hate seeing it there. I'm sorry about that, guys. Hopefully you guys who have been around though, you do appreciate the new overlay. I am happy with how that is looking. Was able to get some stuff in there. I just wanted to give some recognition to the folks that were dropping bits, that were following the channel, that were just here and part of the community. So I figured I'd put in some hours yesterday. I was able to put a new overlay together. Hopefully it's looking a little cleaner and sharper. I will fix this chat box at some point today just so it's not so gross. But otherwise, guys, I am going to continue to try to pick that up. Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good returns. I'm pretty happy with that. They're not awful. I'll say that. They're not awful returns. I could be doing worse. The target that I have set for this year is to finish with 40 to 50 grand in that account. That's really where I would like to end the year. I think if I can 10x an account through the worst market the world has ever seen, that's something of note. That's something that may cause people to open their eyes a little bit to the potential of, instead of day trading like you see a lot on Robinhood or options trading, there is still great potential in a volatile market to make gains on equity alone. I have less than 1% of my portfolio in option plays. I'm not a huge fan of options trading. I'm pretty much break even on my options trading for the year. The reality is, long equity, I consistently seem to make gains on. The bio sector, I consistently seem to make gains on. And so that's where I put the majority of my time, focus, and energy. GHSI. Okay, so let's see what's going on with GHSI. Guardian Health. Yeah, that was back in March, though. Lots happened since March. Lot has happened. So what I need to see with Guardian is... Here we go. First quarter. News just came out? Okay, so let's see what the news was. Yeah, I mean... These sales are really, really small, guys. Like 245K in sales. Poquito, huh? Like tiny, tiny, tiny. Let's see, 12-month forecast. GHSI. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. Its 52-week range is at the $3 high, a 17 low. Um, with lackluster sales like this, guys, I don't know that it has the room to run. Um, it's super low. Like, I mean, this can easily be manipulated, which is why I'm that much more cautious about it. Um, their customers are largely third world countries or developing countries where essential nutrients aren't there. So countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Taiwan, not necessarily Taiwan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, Africa. That's I think its primary. Yeah, it's food that helps your eyes. It I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like it. The big concerns for me are it's too small. It doesn't have the bulk behind it that it needs. I definitely don't think it's worth 350. And my concern is that, especially if Twitter's talking about it, this is a pump and dump of the worst kind. It's a pump and dump that has no validity and no backing, and it's going to show through real hard, real fast. So if we're seeing actual, hold on, let's see how much more people are actually talking about this thing. Okay. GHSI. There was more dialogue about it yesterday, but look at this. Look. Ah. Ah. What link is that? You can't use this tool. This is a private tool. This is one of the tools that I use for my marketing consultancy firm. It allows me to scrape the entire internet and provide relevant data. But it can also be used for trading. The tool is called Talkwalker. It's a fantastic tool. I really like it. If you have some extra cash to throw around, it's definitely worth taking a look at. So, talkwalker.com. Okay, so Stan the trading man likes it, and he's been trading it for 6 months. Okay, what I will say is there seems to be a lot of pumpers on this. There's a lot of bag holders on this. As far as month to date goes, volume is not really substantial. There was a slight peak in volume yesterday, but not enough to warrant a massive change. If this thing moves, I think it moves at high to 60, at low to 40. If you feel that's enough of a gain or a loss, take a look at it. Model N. What do you mean by Model N? Model N. Oh, it's a company. Okay. Okay. Model Next. It's the next big thing. Model N. Modern. Okay. Sorry, I didn't realize it was stock. I thought it was like a Tesla car or something. You know how they've got the Model S or whatever. Okay, Model N. Okay, so good recovery, but this is expected. So this is through May. Let's look at the month. Decline down to 2777. Model N. Revenue management solutions for high tech. It eliminates revenue leakage, captures hidden revenue, and ensures regulatory compliance to grow your true top line. Okay. So what this does, this tool breaks down your finances and says, okay, you are bleeding money when you don't need to be. Let's cut the bleeding. Dice, what's up, man? Morning. Let's cut the bleeding out. Let's focus in. Let's really get dialed in on how your portfolio is performing, or how your business is performing. Let's cut the fat. Let's trim the fat. Let's make sure that you're filing the way that you're supposed to be filing. You're getting back the money you're supposed to be getting back. You're taking advantage of all the government programs. It's a single service tool for that. Now, news around Model N. Convertible debt offering. So they themselves are putting a debt offering out there because they need to raise capital. So that's never a good sign. Company with a tool to help people manage their finances in times of crisis is having a hard time managing their finances in times of crisis. That would be a large warning sign for me, right? May was their earnings. Let's look at the transcript. Skip all the BS. Go to the questions. Okay. Double-digit subscription growth. Talking about 5G, they're talking about their life sciences sector. They don't seem to have a very strong presence in 5G, so that could have been a play on it, but they don't seem to be very confident in that. Johnson & Johnson's considering moving to the cloud. That's a big deal. Okay, I like it. I like this. When life sciences is 80% of your business, and you're talking about servicing companies like Novartis, Pfizer, and Johnson & Johnson, you're showing double-digit subscription numbers through Q2. I like it. I like it. I do. Nice snag. I like it. MODN. Now it is a little bit higher price, but um, $27. It makes for a nice option play if you're gonna play options. Yeah, makes for a nice option play. That's all I can really say on it. As far as equity, you've got the equity to be taking a sizable position, like $1,000 or 1,000 shares of MODN. I think that there's potential there as well. I'm not, again, guys. It's been at least an hour, so let me reiterate: not a financial expert, not an advisor. Anything that we do here is purely conjecture among friends. We're just talking. There is no financial advice being given here. Do your own due diligence, make your own decisions, make your own trades. I'm not responsible for you. You are not responsible for me. Do your due diligence. Be a responsible trader. Get off of Robinhood. All right, let's keep going. Um, so it's just so risky. Okay, Robinhood is really, really risky. Um, as far as it staying up, that's been a huge issue. They've had downages like crazy. Um, the other thing that I've got with Robinhood is the company itself is scalping trades, and that's been seen over and over and over again. Where you go to enter your order with a limit, all of a sudden the stock bumps up. Robinhood is going to have some very serious eyes on it moving forward, and on top of that, Robinhood is becoming complicit in a lot of these Wall Street bets, um, pump and dumps. Those pump and dumps aren't happening on traditional platforms; they're happening on Robinhood. And if that continues to happen over and over and over again, you better believe that the SEC is going to take a hard look at what they're doing. And I think they're going to find that Robinhood may not necessarily be so much on the up and up. So now that $0 commissions are available with other brokerages across the US, I would take a look at a brokerage that's been around for a while, that has some track record, that isn't brand new, that isn't trying to make all of its money on the trade desk exclusively, right? So companies like TD in the states, Thinkorswim, Morgan Stanley and E-Trade, companies that don't rely solely on the commissions or on the volume of trading to make things happen. Instead, they've got a large banking firm behind them. Those just they provide more assurance that your assets are okay. That's my concern with Robinhood. Also, the lack of ability to control your orders is a little bit concerning too. But yeah, MODN, I like that. Neo. Okay, let's do Neo. So the positives with Neo are this. Neo, we are seeing massive increases in Asian car sales through this past quarter. We're seeing an uptick in electric car sales, which means Neo, because Tesla did not see a spike in sales. So Neo is selling more cars. However, with China phase 2 trade deal coming on the table, with Trump inciting more tension between China and the US, with potential lockdown, well, I mean, the SEC is already moving against Chinese companies and making it harder for them to IPO in the U.S. market. The oversight on Asian companies after the Luckin debacle, Neo is a scary beast to touch, and for me, the risk far outweighs the reward. I think if you're looking for an equity play in that sector, tread very lightly. Yes, it's an okay entry position at 348. Again, it's one of those that just you get that spotty sense tingle up your back. It just kind of scares you to look at it. That's what every time I see Neo, it's a legitimate shiver up the spine. But some people are just, you can get a better read on this. You don't mind that China owns this company. It's a state-owned, state-run company. Like, go at it if you will. I would never advocate anybody go anywhere near this. Do your own due diligence and do a heck of a lot of it if you're going to touch Neo, I think. ILMN. Illumina to the moon. Okay, what are we doing here? Lumina. ILMN. 4% increase on a stock that big? That's a big deal. Okay, so Illumina is going to... Go to the news. Okay, they beat their Q1 with a surprise 30% increase. Almost $1 billion in sales. $3.3 billion in cash. That's nice. That's nice. I think this nails it. Like, if I'm taking a look at something of this size and magnitude, I just go with Lilly, or Biogen. I'm not seeing anything here that's blowing my mind. So, yeah, I definitely like Lilly better. Eli Lilly. What do you think about Airbus? I think they're very well positioned with almost their entire product range to pick up speed again after the crisis. So, an interesting thing is look at where major money is moving. Okay, the Saudis recently put money into Disney, Facebook, and Boeing, but not Airbus. They moved out of Airbus, and I think the issue with that, I think the issue with Airbus is, it's so closely tied to the EU economy, and many people, including myself, have been saying for a while now that we're seeing a collapse of the EU as a very real possibility over the next 5 years. So with Airbus's finances so closely tied to the EU's banks, I'm a little bit concerned for Airbus. I don't think it goes well. I think it's too closely tied to the EU, and as the EU goes, so goes Airbus. So with my outlook on Airbus being, or my outlook on the EU being its prep for collapse, I would have to say that my outlook on Airbus is about the same. If you're going to play the two, back the one that's got the Saudi dollars and the US government money. The US dollar and the Saudi money backing it, Boeing is the better play of the two, I think. How about Coles? It's a ticker on Coles. KSS. Oof. Yowza. There's a lot of room for recovery on Coles here. So, again, guys, you know that when I'm looking at these stocks, I'm looking at risk reward, right? So, how low do I think it can go? How high do I think it can go? I think if we look at this on the year, I think its low is probably at this absolute bottom that we saw here, but I don't think it goes back to that. I think the low, a realistic low, could be at is $14. So, risk of you losing $3, or to the upside, I don't know that we'll go back up to this level, but I think that maybe around that 30 Well, I mean, like this drop here looks pretty attractive, but even still, that's a $10 increase on the stock. So if you guys like that, if you think that that gain is enough, a potential $3 drop for a $10 gain, I think Coles is a play. I think Coles is a play. It is in the retail sector. It's narrowing its brands, which is good. I do like Lily's current price. I think that they have a little bit more room to run. I think with Lily around that 165, 170 is where I like them. With ILMN, I mean, it tops at 379 over and over and over again. So I think that what you're going to see is I think ILMN is priced adequately right now. Just look at that line. This is over 3 years, and it consistently does this. It goes up and then falls out from under itself. So I think it, if anything, ILMN is either a little bit overpriced or right at price right now. That would be my thoughts on it for sure. You think it's going to pick back up later on? Nidal, which stock are you talking about? Not at all, Poopy. All right, guys. I am going to take a 60-second break. Any other tickers you want us to break down here, we have another half hour for me to get through, so I'm happy to look at anything else that you guys want me to take a look at, break down, any thoughts, ideas that you want me to flesh out a little bit. I'm happy to do that. I'm going to do a 60-second break. We will be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you on the other side of this ad break. All right, we're back. Yeah, so the Senate bill is the Senate did pass restrictions on Chinese stocks. I think that's going to have huge implications for new stocks from China trying to get into the U.S. market. I think those that are grandfathered in, Luckin Coffee, Neo, Alibaba, I think they're going to be fine. But new companies from China trying to get into the U.S. market are going to have a real hard time with that. Why is Lufthansa up? Let's take a look. Lufthansa. See, this is why I like doing the stream in the morning pre-market, because you're getting the European investor and the American investors at the same time. And stocks that we never talk about over here come up in these conversations. And I get to learn a little bit more about the global market instead of just the US market. Okay, news. Germany is close to a bailout deal with Lufthansa. That's what's raising it up. Boeing still has a bit of that. Oh yeah, Australia too. That's true. You kind of get a little bit of everybody because I mean, right now it's fairly early for North America. Let's be honest. I start at 4:30 in the morning here, but the nice thing about that is it's only like 9-10 o'clock in most of Europe and nighttime over in Asia, so it's kind of nice that way. With Lufthansa, yeah, it looks like Germany is about to bail them out, which is long awaited, and Belgium as well is looking to bail them out. So they've got Euro money coming their way, whereas Boeing has said that they're not interested in the U.S. bailout money. So now Boeing does have Saudi dollars, so I think Boeing has that. If the big thing with Boeing, the big mover for it to move up or down is going to be when the FAA, when the FAA weighs in on 737 Max and says it's ready to fly it again. If that's a yes, if that's to the affirmative, then great. If it's a no, Boeing is going to stay where it is. KO Coca-Cola. So Coke is facing a very unique challenge as an industry. More and more, we're seeing a decline in pullback from Coke, from sugar drinks as a whole. So Coke needs to transition to a market that isn't so inclined to sugary drinks. Is more health conscious, more health aware. I think their water business is a big part of the business moving forward. I think that Coke products need to evolve. Coke needs to consider moving outside of just sugary drinks. It needs to consider doing something else. But yeah, they got to keep their eyes out for the next big thing is as far as I don't know even that it needs to be beverages. I think they need to branch out from beverages. I think they've been great at it for so long. They can continue producing Coke and all the great Coke products, but I think they need to really show some innovation and move into a new sector in some way. So we'll see how they do that. But they're stagnant because they're stagnant. Like it's just, if you look at it overall, so this is obviously not where Coke should be, down at $36, but $45, that's not unreasonable. That's where they were before the massive rise of industry over the last little bit through Trump, but like they're where they were pre-Trump. And I don't see any news that's really driving Coke forward of all children are now forced to drink Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola cures cancer. Like there's nothing that's going to really pump Coke. Coke has always been Coke. So I think what you see with Coke is a great dividend play. I think it's a good long hold in a portfolio. As far as volatility and movement, you're not going to see it. Occidental Petroleum. Oh, it's why. Okay, so with Oxy, guys. Oxy's carrying a lot of debt. It's got high value. Yeah, it's got a lot of debt. Oil glut is still there. It's a reality. While oil prices are slowly returning to normal, it could be too little too late. But Oxy does have major investors like George Icahn and Warren Buffett taking positions in it, which has me interested. I don't love it. I don't know that I would play it. It's a little bit out of my price range for equity. As far as options plays go, I do have an options play in this sector already, but it's not with Oxy, it's with MRO. So MRO is actually the one that I like better, coming out of the oil glut. So this is one of the few options plays that I have is MRO. I see MRO back up at the $12-13 mark. I'm not going to tell you when, but it's a long dated option for sure. I personally like MRO better, but to each their own. It's a much smaller company than Oxy. Oxy's a much bigger beast. Oxy's much closer to something like Suncor or XOM. And I mean, XOM I think has room to run as well. Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on Oxy. But Buffett's no fool. He knows what he's doing. George Icahn knows what he's doing. If they see potential in Oxy, then there's potential in Oxy for sure. I just don't know. Just because Warren Buffett gets into a play doesn't mean I'm going to take that play. You know what I mean? That's kind of my insights on that. We got some new press releases here. New orphan drug. FDA names AMP potential IPF treatment orphan drug. Okay. AMP 945. Amplia. So this is an Australian stock, Amplia, but it now has 2 orphan drug designations. Amplia Therapeutics, INNF. Am I reading this right? Is this right? How does this company have 2 orphan drug? This could be an interesting play. Patent control to 2039, 2 orphan drug designations. And this bad boy is looking like a beast. This may be a diamond in the rough here, ladies and gentlemen. This may be a diamond in the rough. Yeah, I already saw a little bit of a gain there. Yeah, year to date, 3 years. So as high as 37 cents. Double orphan drug designation. It's at 9 cents right now. INNMF. This is a pink sheet. Please do your due diligence on this, guys. But double orphan drug designation is a huge deal. Pancreatic cancer and lung cancer. We're headed into the ASCO. I really like this. Really, really, really like this. Stock is INNMF. Australian based. It's got an orphan drug designation for chronic lung disease as well as pancreatic cancer. It's applied for international patents that will give it control over the drug till 2039, which is kind of nice. Like 20 years, 19 years of control over the drug. Um, Now, guys, this is not a quick flip. This would not be a quick flip. INNMF. This would be something that is a long, long hold. We're talking 5-10 years. But room for the downside, it's 9 cents. So whatever you put in, be prepared to lose, because this thing could just go belly up. Room to the upside. Double designation in pancreatic cancer and lung cancer. Let's take a look at a company that has a couple of stocks. So it'd be... I mean, Pfizer's kind of a bigger beast. I don't know that Pfizer is it. I think this is possible. I think that's $15, $16 range to 25. Like $15 to $25, I think is possible. Now, I don't know that it will ever come off of the OTC, so you may be stuck with it being OTC as an Australian-based company unless they get acquired. But, yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. It's not often that I'm just like, no words, blown away by something, but that's kind of a huge deal in the bio sector. Okay, markets are still looking positive. Global's good, crude's up, oil's up. EasyJet's going to restore some flights. AbbVie, Synlogic. Yeah, this is bad news. Hertz is in a lot of trouble. I think we see this thing crash and burn. I think Hertz is done. Which is unfortunate because I have all of those gold points with Hertz. I'll have to find another provider. Lowe's. LOEWS. Okay, $32. Oof. Oof. It is bad. It is below the May drop. What the heck happened to this thing? Lowe's. Offshore drilling. That's what's killing this thing. Yeah, that's what's killing this thing. The oil glut is killing Lowe's, which means that as oil recovers, the nice thing with Lowe's is they're diversified. They're not solely in oil, but that's the part of the business that is absolutely dying for them. So this actually has some really good potential, I think. I think that, I think that this has some great potential to return at 30. Where is it right now? 32. Yeah, I think this has room to go back to the 50s. I think if I put the line, where do I want it? Kind of want it right there. Yep. Yeah, it's the 50. I think 50 is a nice upside for it. I can't see it going. I mean, maybe $4, down $4 if the oil glut gets worse, but I don't see the oil glut getting worse in any way. So the downside is almost nothing on this. Maybe $30. I'll say 30, but like $2 down for a potential, 75% gain. Like, 80% gain. I like it. I like it. Anything else, guys? We've got 15 minutes left here. I'm going to hop back in and check some more news and press releases here. You guys can feel free to keep throwing out stocks, and I will do my best to get to all of them. Cruises, I would wait. Hotels, I think you're going to be okay. US-based hotels, I think what people are going to do this year for summer, because travel is so iffy, people don't want to be taking flights, as we see a lot of domestic travel. So I think that you see a lot of camping, and I think you see a lot of people going to hotels as they travel across the domestic US. So if you're going to look at a hotel chain, don't look at somebody that's globally. Look at somebody that is US based. That would be my advice, I think. Not advice. That would be my opinion on that market. Airlines, airlines and cruises. Three-night Mexican cruise, $33 a night. What the heck? That's insane. That's insane. What's included? So this doesn't come with booze or specialty dining. Let's lower this. Let's go. I want a price per person of. Let's go 599 and see how many cruises we get. There's 300 cruises for less than $500 a person. That's insane. $27 a night. Yeah. I think the cruise industry is really desperately trying to get people to come on in and see what's going on. Pixie is down 25%, 20%. So what's going on with Pixie right now? Shift Pixie. Deal with Del Taco causes Shift Pixie to soar. Okay. All right, back down. What? What? Yeah, so it's only 11 restaurants that it picked up, so that's why it's not a huge deal. Largest Denny's franchisee with 94 Denny's. Okay, so this could be a potential play. I don't dislike Pixie actually, and that it's down this much right now is okay by me. That makes it okay for entry. Yeah, when you got people signing up for the tool. IMAB. Ooh, cow, look at that. Open, close, movement. This thing is all over the place. So it actually closed below the previous day. It's not doing anything. It's kind of sideways. Let's look at the... Oh man, this thing is relatively new. I don't like this. There's not enough track record. There's not enough history on IMAB. This movement, people are like, look at it spike up. Sure. Here it was. So here's the initial, and then the spike, and then the up, right? And this is the open, and it went as high as here, and then to the ground. Either this is a new level, or we're going to see it decline again. And I think we see it come back down to around here. That's a huge potential for loss on that. I'm not a fan of IMAB at all. Hey, look, it's me. This is one of the interviews I did. Sweet. Barnes and Noble. No, not Barnes. No, Barnes Group is something else. 36.26 up 1.23. Not a ton happening there. Huge drop from 64. So what is it that Barnes Group does? Be stock. Barnes Group. Aerospace. Yeah, so this has potential. 650 million. I don't know that this returns to... This would have to be a long hold. I think that we see it hit this level before it goes anywhere near this level. So it's got to come back up to that 50 range first before it goes back up to this $65 range here. All right, guys, if there's nothing else, I think that is it for today. We've got a decent list of potential plays for the day right here that I'm looking at. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Huge appreciation to all you guys that keep swinging through, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Always love having you guys around. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, take it easy. Hope you stay green in the market, and I will see you later.